Hey everyone, welcome back to another 10 minutes of useless League of Legends information part 8. If you haven't seen 1 through 7 yet, make sure to go check those out. Also, really quick, let me introduce you something that you will not want to miss out on. As long as you like free stuff, that is. Introducing the sponsor of today's video, Buff, a gamer's loyalty app that lets you earn buff coins while playing your favorite games. All you have to do is download Buff, continue playing your games, earn buff coins, and buy some seriously amazing things. This ranges from Steam credits, RP, V-Bucks, gift cards, game keys, skins, gaming hardware, and so much more. Buff doesn't affect your gaming performance at all, and it's completely safe. Just leave Buff in the background and play your game. It's seriously that simple. What's really cool though is the challenges you do to earn buff coins are almost identical to the missions in League of Legends, but instead of earning tiny amounts of blue essence and experience, you can earn really cool rewards like RP or gift cards. There are just so many options in the market they have. Now, I'm not gonna lie, at first I agree, it sounds too good to be true, but Buff is partnered with Overwolf, a world-leading gaming app platform, so you know it's legit. Also, there's even a leaderboard where you can compare stats with other people. It doesn't get much better than earning rewards for games you're already playing, so make sure to go join Buff today using my link in the description below. Thanks again, Buff, for supporting this channel. Alright, on to the video. Samir has officially overtaken Yi as the champion most likely to get a pentakill at a 2.1% chance per game. On the backside of Riot's League of Legends sign in LA, it says Rito instead of Riot. 2.7% of the League of Legends community is a Lux one trick. There was a time that Cloud9 had 3 colorblind members on the same team: Kai, Jensen, and Sneaky. Back then, Riot was still trying to figure out what worked and what didn't for the most common type of colorblindness, which is red and green. For example, Tom Kench had a black shield and Sneaky could barely tell if he was seeing the shield or his health bar.
A lot of colors in general are just like mixed together, and like I basically just take a guessing game at what colors are sometimes.
For perspective, this is what League would look like if you were red and green colorblind. For League's 10th anniversary, Riot made a skin splash art for KDA Gragas as a joke and said it will never become a skin. However, a very similar thing happened with Star Guardian Urgot a while back, and as you know, now it's a real thing, so never say never. The average 2020 LCS player salary was said to be $410,000 a year. It has gone up nearly 400% since 2017, when the average was $105,000. Also, this is without including extra perks that usually come with being on a team, like free housing, free food, free computers, etc. If you think that's a lot, at the start of 2020, Faker received an offer of $10 million from China, and NA offered him a check for a similar price, but he turned both of them down. Alright, this is a pretty interesting one. In 2014, there was a New York Times article done on League of Legends, and in the article, they posted time lapses of traffic and activity in each lane from 10,000 League of Legends overlapped games, which is also 100,000 people. This is the bot lane map. This is mid lanes. This is tops. And lastly, jungles. Finally, here's a clip of them all together. It's pretty interesting because it clearly shows the early game laning phase, the mid game with a lot more traffic fighting over objectives like Dragon, and late game in each other's bases and how it basically turns into an ARAM. Here's a cool chart done by this guy that shows the relationship between each champion using lines. There's one for friends, enemies, families, relationships, but my favorite has to be the squiggly drinking buddy line. Damwon Gaming was the most popular team at Worlds 2020, watched by 1.9 million average viewers. Here's a chart showing the top 10 most popular teams at Worlds too. Now on the flip side of this, Legacy Esports became the most unpopular team at Worlds with only 66,000 average viewers, which may seem like a lot by itself, but compared to Damwon Gaming's 1.9 million, it kinda seems like nothing. This is mostly due to the unpopularity of the Oceania region. The League of Legends Worlds Finals had a peak viewership of just under 3.9 million viewers. Now, according to League of Graphs, 33% of Iron Tier Flex Queue games have an AFK in them, which is absolutely insane. On the LAN server, 7.9% of all games have an AFK in them. Do you ever have a really crappy game where someone is clearly being toxic, running it down, but when you get to the end screen, you completely forget to report them and it eats you up inside? Well, fear not, you can actually still report them after the game is over on the League of Legends site. I'll leave a link in the description. You can finally sleep well at night. 2019 was the first year they allowed players players below Challenger to purchase ranked merch, which is basically a shirt or hoodie that shows off what rank you ended the season with. That silver shirt is looking clean though. Unfortunately, there wasn't any for iron or bronze. Missed opportunities, Riot. Missed opportunities. It was also in 2019 that Riot put an end to physical ranked rewards for Challenger players. In the past, if you ended the season as a Challenger, Riot would send something new like a Challenger backpack or a Challenger jacket, which apparently you can buy on eBay for $200. And if you were in the top 10, they'd even send you a Challenger medallion. That's some fancy stuff going on. If you transfer accounts to another server before the season is over, you'll have to do your placements all over again and will most likely be seated lower than before. Your honor level would also be changed. If you play on a Mac, first off, I'm sorry, I've been there. Ex-MacBook Air player here. Second off, Riot actually has some specific recommended settings for Mac players, which you can see here. I have no idea if they help or not, but you know what? They're there. There's temporary bans, perma bans, and there's also ID bans. ID bans are basically the worst ban you could possibly receive. It pretty much bans you from publicly playing the game at all. Meaning if Riot sees you streaming or posting a video, that account's going to get banned. However, only a small handful of players have actually received this, most notably Tyler1. On that note, when Tyler1 was banned, his fans rallied and they were even banned from making free Tyler1 signs at League events. It didn't stop these guys though. When Tyler1 was unbanned and returned to Twitch, he peaked at 382,000 viewers, which at the time broke the record for the most concurrent viewers for an individual streamer on Twitch set by Faker in 2017. However, Ninja would later go on to holding that title with just over 600,000 viewers on a Fortnite stream with Drake. Yeah, the rapper. Clash has a sudden death feature to help games from not running past a ridiculous amount of time. After 60 minutes, towers will become more fragile and easier to destroy, and by 65 minutes, structures will damage themselves, and by 70 minutes, a winner will be decided. There's a third-party app called Deceive, which makes you appear offline even when you're online. This can be used for whatever reason, but a lot of the time I use it while I'm working on bids. Or if you're just gonna do that ranked grind session or something, I don't know. The team with the player that did the most damage to champions wins roughly 80% of their games. Who says damage doesn't win games? If you factor in the total damage dealt, that bumps up the win rate about 2 to 3% more. Mid laners will do the most damage in 36.5% of games, bot in 33.3%, top in 21.25%, jungle in 6.1%, and finally support in 2.85% of the games. There was a time in 2015 where ZZ Rot gave Renekton a 79% win rate. In May 2020, an EU player called 15 accounts but Silver XD set the world record for the most deaths in League of Legends, coming at a whopping 700 deaths. He had 0 kills and 0 assists. On the flip side of things, your boy Retired Jesus was doing work and got 667 kills as Ahri. The game lasted 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 3 seconds. Ahri ended up doing 500,000 in damage. However, that's nothing compared to an EU player called Kenja No Tate, who did 2,142,053,120 damage in one game. Why? A few days ago, Yumi Feet account placed 8,895 wards in one game. Ironically, he still received a vision score of 0 that game, so remember kids, more wards doesn't exactly equal a better vision score. In Diamond Elo and above, Red Side wins about 57.3% of ranked flex matches, but in low Elo it's about a 50-50 split, which is probably what it should be. Gold is the least likely rank to surrender a game at only 21.6% of the time, and as mentioned in one of my other videos, Challenger has the highest chance of a surrender at 42.2%. As of patch 11.8, Morgana has the highest ban rate out of any champion at 42%. Even though they nerfed it down, Darius can still solo the dragon at level 1. If Vladimir gets 2 kills within 10 minutes, he has a 70% chance of winning the game. People who do not upgrade their boots only win 32% of their games. It would cost about 115,000 RP to buy every champion in League, or about $700. With surrenders, the average Iron solo queue game lasts around 30 minutes and 5 seconds, while the average Challenger game lasts around 24 minutes and 46 seconds. Without surrenders, the average Iron game lasts around 32 minutes and 30 seconds, while the average Challenger game lasts around 26 minutes and 55 seconds. With that being said, Iron games in Flex queue average around 26 minutes, which is a huge difference from solo queue. That's almost a 5-minute difference. In other words, I guess never underestimate the power of friendship. Woohoo! It's recently been possible to pick 2 of the same champion in ARAM, most likely due to the latest patch. This game even had 2 Teemos, which would have been a boatload of fun had it not been for the Super Minion Sweeper buff a while back. In patch 7.16, which was in 2017, Riot released this champion popularity graph. To start, let me simplify things by first explaining the depth and breadth listed in the X and Y axis. And they told me I wouldn't use what I learned in school in the real world. Actually, I said that. Anyways, breadth is the number of unique players who played a champion during a given time, while depth is the average number of games played on a champion per player during a given time. In other words, if you're the only person in your squad who plays Yorick, but you play him in every single game, you're personally carrying that champion's depth score. Basically, the rest is separated into 4 quadrants, and each quadrant represents a different type of champion popularity. For example, the top right is the most popular and the bottom left is the least, and the overall popularity is determined by the breadth multiplied by the depth. You know, hence the graph. However, the further top left a champion is, the more niche it is, and the further bottom right it is, the more broad it is. Niche champions are described as champions that show up in games occasionally, but when they do, it's typically a one trick, while broad champions are usually the ones played just to understand their kit or mix things up a bit. In short terms, I got autofilled champions. I hate my life, so just one-trick champions that no one else likes. The everyone and their moms play this. And then the, oh wow, I forgot they were even in the game champions. There's even a graph that shows the popularity of ADCs. With the release of Gwen as the 155th champion, there are now 38 fighter/brawler champions in League, 20 assassins, 45 mages, 27 tanks, and 25 marksmen. Did you know that Blast Cone can actually proc electrocute? If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It would help me out so much. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.